because the country that I come from, we say namaste, bow down with respect. And Kemcho is a state that I belong to. The reason of saying this is that it's a beautiful amalgamation of multiple cultures combined into one, which is what I see in this room. Beautiful amalgamation of thought leaders from different industries, different size companies, all coming together for this event. So thank you so much for coming down. Truly appreciate it. The world that we know is transforming like never before. I think we are in the phase which is unprecedented with the possibilities of AI and what it can potentially do for all of us. Imagine a retailer is able to dynamically change pricing of product across different channels, giving a significant boost in the upside revenue. Imagine a retailer is able to service customers at scale, depending on the size, significantly saving cost for the retailer. And imagine all of these situations can be leveraged by even a small retailer able to compete with the big boys in the market. We are in that space. With that, good morning everybody. My name is Trusha Dochi. I'm a co-founder and CEO of AquaOrange. I'm here with our partners, Fine and ThoughtSpark, to essentially enable a dialogue in the space of AI. There is so much conversation about AI. I was talking to a friend of mine, and the conversation that is primary at this point of time is who would be elected as a president of America. And frankly, AI hype is even bigger than that. I think the digital leaders in this room and the digital leaders who have even adopted AI are actually at the forefront of the innovation in the market. Research says that it increases 400% productivity. But what is the real use case? How are companies actually using it? What is the tangible value of doing AI? What is the, how are we seeing beyond the hype? And I think one of the things that we've observed, and we've started noticing is that all of you came today for an event which is titled AI in Retail, which implies that you are ready for AI, which also implies that your board is ready for AI, which also implies your customers are ready for AI. But guess what? Who's not ready for AI? Your data. Imagine a situation where you have junk data, unstructured data for your large language models. Gives you nothing. It's of no use. It doesn't give you the customer experience that you need at multiple channels at scale. It doesn't give you the immediate operational efficiency that AI is primarily trying to get into. Or it doesn't give you, frankly, significant revenue growth as we have seen it. That's just one side. Second side is, who owns AI? We've all been in meeting rooms where, is it the IT that owns AI? Is it the marketing that owns AI? Is it the HR that owns AI? Because the other big part here is, there is a risk of IP infringement because you're exposing your data. There is the risk of not having a proper structured governance around your data. And frankly, there is a risk of what we've seen before, hallucination, intent-based outcome, which is not a truly clear, structured outcome that we all wanted to have. I think one other thing that I've realized over last 18 months is that, is AI really the new BI. And I think that's primarily the intent of having conversations like this, to say things out openly, not just talk about the potential and the hype behind it. I remember a situation 7 years ago when everybody was talking about digital transformation in the same space, same way as what AI is today, versus how you, us, all of us together would come up with real-world use cases based on learning from each other in a diverse audience that we have today. And obviously this is just one part of the dialogue. And grow the industry together. Because as much as data is important, as much as there is a governance risk around it, it is also true that AI would significantly transform not only retail as an industry, but significantly transform all of our lives in the coming years. I think the other thing that we looked at was, are the fundamentals of how we do retail business has really changed? Or is it still the same? Let me give you an example. Customers do not just come to you for your products, they come to you for your expertise. That was true in 1960 in a hardware retail store. That was true by my grandfather who was selling apparel in a small shop in Mumbai. And that is still true today. The channels have changed. The scale has changed. The service has changed. So the fundamentals are yet the same. I'll give you one more example. We always look to give customer highly contextual information. It's not just about relaying information. It's about the context. Now imagine a situation, you are a retailer with 500 stores. How do you scale that? How do you provide context to all your customers, whether they are in the store, whether they are on your online store, or whether they are buying from third-party aggregators where you have your data? Basically, all the channels. Can AI really help us? And keeping that question open, we have an amazing set of speakers, an amazing panel. And I've had a sneak peek at some of the presentations last night, and it's fabulous. I'm so much looking forward to learn from all of you. With that, let me hand over and invite Mr. Mohammed Ramoni, Group CTO of Central Group. Please, sir. Sorry, one more thing.
Beautiful.
This is very traditional amalgamation of cultures, and this is the way we welcome guests, dignitaries, finally our elders in our culture. If I may say. Thank you. Thank you.
So, good morning. My name is Mohammed. I'm CTO of Software Retail. I apologize for my voices yesterday evening. I sang with friends. I would like to start by thanking AquaOrange for the invitation and all the partners for giving us this opportunity to meet all together. I would like to introduce myself. I've been working for 25 years in digital and technology, The first half was with IBM, and the second was in the retail and in the hospitality. With IBM, I don't know if some of you remember the first time Garry Kasparov was beaten by a machine. It was like a huge information. And today, by 2024, if we go back and say, okay, it was a big machine, she won against the world champion in chess. What is the value today? IBM Watson was born after this big success, but today IBM Watson was a failure in oncology. Everyone knows that. So the idea of today is just to share with you like 3 lessons learned that I have personally learned, and my team also, around artificial intelligence. Because as Rashid said, retail is now your product, now your client. And the client comes for expertise. So yes, artificial intelligence will help us, but basically it's, there is a human factor behind. And we cannot, for today, have an abstraction of this. I have put some statistics, but I think that we don't need these numbers. We know that artificial intelligence is everywhere since the OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, with Google, Microsoft, Copilot. A lot of people are using these technologies. But the number that I would like you to focus on is the market growth, which is a growth rate of 31.8%. And by 2032, it will be reaching 85 billion. It means that if there is any area of business we should focus and get our attention, I think that AI in retail deserves it. My first lesson learned was, yes, artificial intelligence is fast. I heard a lot. Yeah, you can have something in 15 minutes. Yes, this is right. So to have a proof of concept, 15 minutes is okay. Now, if we want to roll out in production, there is a human behind. There is sometimes the proof of concept is okay, but the production is not okay. IBM Watson, I will have to share with you why it was a failure. There is Microsoft, the bot created for Twitter, shut down after 24 hours because the bot became upset, So there are lessons learned here. To move from the proof of concept to the rollout, we need the proof of value. The proof of value is just having a clear objective. What is the target? What is the value we deliver with this innovation? And then after, we can imagine the rollout. And usually we have weaknesses around governance. This is linked to human once again. We forget to engage all the stakeholders, so we have like surprises around the proof of value or during the rollout. And the prioritization. We need to start small, really small, and then by iteration, trying to complete the product we want. So this was around fast track. The second is around data. Data is very important, and it's, for me, it's the foundation of artificial intelligence. Data should be accurate, should be sufficient, and should be balanced. The last one, balanced, is just to keep in mind that yes, the cloud is helping us to go fast. Artificial intelligence is not very expensive, but we need to think of about the innovation as a balance between cost and the value that we provide to clients. And I have shared with you here some of the reason why IBM also for oncology was not as successful as you can imagine. It was, for me, it was a huge innovation. Like during the years when I was working at IBM, I said, this is the future. It's impressive. So you can have like your radiology, machine analyze, and 10 minutes you have the diagnosis. But the complexity of medical data was somehow ignored. And if we really try to just have one takeaway, it's related to data. So, in my opinion, no data, no artificial intelligence. AI can create a set of data for testing, but if you want really a proof of concept that leads to proof of value and rollout, we should ensure that we have value behind, and the value is with accurate data. The last one, and for me is the most important, is the human factor. This is the Martech law. Martech law is more or less to explain that the technology changes exponentially, and the organization change is logarithmic. It means that we really try, and this is the author of any digital transformation, to try to harmonize two different approaches that are not evolving at the same speed. So we need to take care of the human factor. And the second point is what I call butterfly and bees. As in the digital transformation, artificial intelligence, we have what I like to call butterfly. Butterfly is beautiful, color, it can share love inside, but butterfly doesn't produce honey. And if you need honey, you need bees. Bees are hard workers. They know how to extract and create this honey. And for me, one of the key success is to rely, you need both, but the bees are, for me, one of the most important key to have really the bees. And after the butterfly to present, to share, because we say what we do what we say. The last point before I present just project is to, I like to say to my team, under promise and over deliver. Under promise, I mean, when you under promise, you will hear, no, but I need this. You can't be the most transparent, the most honest possible. And take always contingency, because we know that we always face surprises. And it's better to have this surprise after the delivery and saying, thanks God, it's impressive, than having this discovery, when we have overpromised and under-delivered. I will go fast from now. Here we have just some classical use cases. Here we have the actual roadmap. We are working with the team, and I will focus on only two use cases. Basically, it's now your client, now your product. The first one is the AI content enrichment. To simplify, we have our business team to enrich the product information in P. So the idea is to help the team. Sometimes it's the seller information. This will have an impact, direct impact on the search, on the conversion rate, and on the business. And the second one is GenAI chatbot, which is the chatbot. We can discuss with the chatbot, asking for, I would like to cook fry eggs, and the chatbot will share how to do it. We share the product, and we can add to basket and go to payment. Thank you very much. I have a last video I would like to share with you. It's 1 minute. Thank you.
Peter, come take a look at this. Look at this. The numbers, they keep getting bigger and bigger.
Clicks are off the charts.
Yeah.
Yoshi, it's Walter. We're back.
I'll get you one, please.
Take a look at football.
Everything about football right now.
He really loves that thing.
It was just to share with you how data are really important. Thank you very much for your attention. I hand over to you.
I mean, I think that's just a beginning of how Central is using it. I think that gives us the perspective that, and I saw so many use cases, I was frankly scared that you're eating away business of all of the SI partners in the market, even the cloud providers there. No, but that's really interesting and commendable. I really like the Copilot chatbot. Recommend me. So it becomes personalized, contextual, relevant, and expertise is what we were talking about earlier at scale. So kudos to you for implementing that, and we look forward to hearing more on those. Thank you, sir. Big round of applause for him. Okay. Next, we have a dear friend, Matt Crane from KPMG. Obviously, Matt is an extremely experienced business advisor. He looks at turnaround, restructuring, M&A across Thailand and Southeast Asia. His primary focus right now is AI. And I think we are extremely grateful and delighted for him to be here and shed some light in terms of how the AI-driven market is looking, not just for Thailand, but across Southeast Asia. Let's give a warm welcome to Matt Crane, please.
Okay. No, not at all. Thank you very much, very kind. Thank you. Okay. Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Delighted to be here today. And yeah, thanks so much to Tricia and the AquaOrange team for inviting me to speak. So yeah, maybe I'll start with a quick introduction. So yeah, I'm a partner at KPMG in Thailand. I'm from the UK originally, but I've been in Thailand 6.5 years now. As Tricia said, my background is actually operational improvement, turnaround, restructuring, and also in a deal context, so buying and selling companies. But my focus is on how do I improve that company, either when someone's bought it or they've sold it. So yeah, a lot of experience in terms of operational improvement and also strategy. So I've been doing that for over 15 years now. The one thing I would caveat is I'm not a technology expert, so I'm a little bit nervous about standing in front of a whole load of CTOs, CXOs to talk about AI. But the perspective I want to bring to you all is what do I see? Everyone's talking about AI, but I will tell you when I go and work with a client, they're still struggling with Excel and spreadsheets most of the time. So yeah, I want to bring a little bit of that reality to you as well. Okay, so I think I've got maybe 15 minutes to share some thoughts with you. So yeah, as I said, this is me, and I'm also joined by a couple of my colleagues, Kun Chortiev, who's head of consumer retail at KPMG, and Mok, who's part of our AI transformation team. So if you do want to talk to any of our colleagues or my colleagues about that, please do reach out. So what I'm going to cover quickly is strategic opportunities for AI in retail. So we've already heard a little bit about that, which is good. But yeah, just sharing KPMG's perspective on those opportunities. And then I want to talk a little bit about trends in Southeast Asia. So as Trusip mentioned, I do work around the region as well. And actually KPMG commissioned a very in-depth study, actually a global study about consumer experience and the use of AI. So we'll happily share that with you all afterwards, but there's a few insights we'll share. And then, yeah, actually where I want to spend more time is on this challenges in using AI, and that's where I'll share a bit about what I'm seeing on the ground with clients in Thailand and around Asia. Okay, so I wanted to start with actually taking a step back. And before we talk about AI, we're talking about retail transformation. And AI is just one component of that, an enabler. But actually what I wanted to share is the global economy and the retailers in particular. It's a challenging market right now. Things are changing globally, economically. So look, here's some of the things that I'm seeing for retailers in Thailand. There's very intense competition. So as I work in the deal environment, I'm telling you, there's companies looking to buy, looking to grow, looking to enter new spaces. So there's constant disruption, new players entering. It's not always that easy. Plus, then you have the established players in Thailand and elsewhere. So that's really intense. So we've got offline and online now as well. Obviously, e-commerce, a massive driver. Global economic and local political instability. I don't want to talk too much about yesterday's result, but I think everyone knows, you can see in the markets already, that's going to have a massive impact on everyone. Who knows what that will look like, but it's clearly there. Plus, challenges in China and other parts of the world. The talent challenge is still there, and I'm sure as CXOs, CTOs, you see this more than anyone, all fighting for people who know how to use this technology, but that's also in traditional retail, right? We're also fighting to get the right people in our stores and managing those stores. Consumer preferences, yeah, I mean, so I have 2 young kids, I'm sure many of you do. I can't keep up with the new trends that what they're looking at every day, every week. I have no idea what these things are, but that's the future, and you know they're looking for something new every week, every month. There's a new trend, and that's impacting retailers as well. And then lastly, but obviously the topic today is technology infrastructure. Everyone has to invest in technology and infrastructure in order to grow, including KPMG. So again, I'll share a little bit later. We're also on our AI journey at KPMG, which is also not that easy, but I can share some insights there. Okay, so just a bit of scene setting before we get into AI. And then I want to share some typical use cases, and these, I'm sure you're all familiar with these, right? But what we are seeing globally in retailers, what are the typical use cases of AI? So I think the most advanced one, and we already heard a little bit this morning, is around commercial and customer engagement, using customer data, personalized recommendations, marketing content, social media, customer service chatbots. I would say some of this is relatively advanced, and most retailers, I think, are already exploring this, if not doing this already, as we've heard. And you know, in Thailand, I think there's a lot of great use cases for these things. And then the next area we're seeing a lot of is in the supply chain operations, demand forecasting, automated supply chain and inventory management. So in my view, I'd say that's slightly less mature, and globally, not just in Thailand, but that's coming as well. But I think this is where everyone, you know, we heard already about, you know, start small and try proof of concepts. I think this is where it's easier to start, and that's what we're seeing. But sorry, the slides are a bit messed up. But one important point I wanted to make, and I was very pleased to hear from both of our speakers already this morning, the concept of value, the proof of value, the value case. What I see so many times in my clients is I go in and this isn't just about AI actually, maybe it's SAP or Microsoft, or they've implemented some new technology, and they spent millions of dollars, and they haven't unlocked any value or benefit from that, or they've not sat back and said, okay, why do I want to invest $2 million in upgrading my ERP system? So this proof of value is really important. So here's some examples here, and sorry the slides are not showing up very well, but we have dynamic pricing. Tricia already mentioned this. So yeah, one leading retailer, 300 million in gains. Marketing strategies, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, some use cases, 1 billion in value. We have Netflix, personalizing content. They estimated about 1 billion in gains from using AI to personalize content, right? And inventory management, this is Walmart. They have AI to streamline their inventory, 2 billion in gains. So this is a really important concept for me because we talk about proof of value, and often in a business case for transformation, I might see a list of bullet points. This is going to help us get more customers, it's going to help us reduce our inventory, it's going to help us be more efficient. Okay, that's fine, but those are just words, we all know that, but tell me the number, the value. And this is actually often what me and my team will do. We'll go in and help really get to the bottom of this and come up with some tangible estimates for what the value is. So I think this is definitely something I'm seeing missing in a lot of AI implementations, transformations. And again, I'll share, we've got some of these challenges at KPMG internally as well. So value, very important, but the other important concept, which again I know all of you will be familiar with, is this concept of customer centricity. It has to be fundamental and central to all of anything you do around AI. There's a funny video which I didn't share today, but we got presented at a KPMG conference a couple of weeks back, and it's I think it's in China and asking about automated shopping. You may have seen this one, and the Chinese lady said, "Well, okay, this is great. Yeah, there's no staff in there, and I can walk in buy stuff." But she's like, "Where's the benefit to me? Why is my groceries not cheaper as a result?" So what's the benefit for the client? And how are you going to use AI to increase your engagement with clients or customers and yeah, win more customers? So yeah, again, I think you'll all be familiar with these. Design customer journeys, optimize the value streams, deep personalization. I think this is a clear use case for AI, and solve customer problems. I think this, if you're thinking about AI transformation in retail, this has got to be fundamental and essential to it. And again, I'll mention later, this isn't just about AI. Everything you do as an organization, if you want to transform, you have to be thinking about your customers first. Then employees maybe second, but customers got to come first. Okay, so what are we seeing around Southeast Asia? So as I said, we did a massive global study, which I'll happily share with you all. And actually, we do a whole big custom survey. We ask people about their brand perception of different brands, and we do that across every single country. So we've done that in Thailand and all Southeast Asia. So here's just a few snippets of what we're seeing. In Thailand, I think the focus is very much on omni-channel experiences, customer interaction, multiple touch points. So I think, yeah, we've seen that already this morning. And yeah, this is not an exhaustive list, by the way, of successful AI transformations. But I didn't plan it. I happened to put Central here already. I think they're clearly doing a lot of great stuff. Also, True Corporation, I think people will be familiar with. The other one that's quite interesting, I know not retail, is AIA. So they've actually done a lot of customization using AI to help inform their customers. Okay, if you have a problem with your knee, okay, I can give you some recommendations of hospitals. Depending on your budget, I can give you an estimate of how much it might cost to have a knee consultation. So yeah, that's a slightly different use case. But yeah, some interesting things happening in Thailand. And I am biased, I've been here 6 years. I think Thailand is a really strong leader in Southeast Asia around a lot of AI implementations. Singapore, yeah, clearly a sort of leader as well in terms of digital transformations. A lot of investment comes out of Singapore in terms of transforming, and you'll be familiar with Shopee or Sea. They're doing a lot of great stuff. Singapore Airlines have also enhanced their app for better customer experience. Indonesia as well, we have Tokopedia, Gojek, the e-commerce platforms. Again, very mobile-focused Indonesia, one of the most mobile-driven markets in Southeast Asia. So that is where a lot of their AI developments are coming, and also Traveloka, personalized recommendations around bookings, journey planning, etc. Vietnam's an interesting one. I don't know if anyone covers or works in Vietnam, but actually there we're seeing a lot of startups. So I think Zalo FPT is like a logistics AI tech company. They're looking to optimize freight and logistics. So some interesting technologies coming out of Vietnam as well and AI use cases. And then similarly on Philippines, a couple of these examples, I think Rocket, again, it's an HR-focused AI platform helping engage with employees. So, I think everything's looking very positive actually in Southeast Asia and AI development and enhancement. Okay, so just a few more slides from me. So we have a lot of frameworks at KPMG around AI that we've developed. And again, I'll happily share these afterwards. And if you go onto KPMG's website and look at AI, you'll see a number of different frameworks we have. Here are some principles we've developed around successful AI implementation. Again, they resonate a little bit with the presentation we had this morning. But I just wanted to highlight a few here in pink. So clarify the economics. So that's what I'm talking about, the value. Like what is the upside and how much is it going to cost to actually do this implementation? Focus on trust. Chushit mentioned this already. I'm sure it's going to be a theme throughout today. There's a lot of concern about trust and AI. Again, we have that at KPMG. Obviously, we have a lot of strict regulations at KPMG, so we have to be very careful about how we use AI in our organization, and I think that's the same for many organizations. Data, again, Chushit mentioned this, and yeah, this is so fundamental. And again, what I see of many clients of mine is they don't even have the data to start using this. So yes, everyone's talking about AI, but if you don't even have the basic data, then yeah, you're not going to get the value and not going to deliver anything. And then lastly, this is something I do see a lot in Thailand. A very supportive, labor-friendly country, which is fantastic. But I have seen that does lead to concerns when you start talking about AI in an organization. There's still a lot of paper in Thailand, I think you'll all know. So when people start talking about paperless or AI, people are worried about, what's this going to mean for my job? So you've really got to address that, work with your HR departments to make sure that employee engagement is there and they see that as an opportunity for them rather than as a threat. Okay, and then just the last slide I wanted to focus on, just to give you some key takeaways. So some key challenges and considerations. So the advent of Gen AI, so generative AI, that is what's made this immediately accessible or accelerated the accessibility. IBM Watson's been around for a long time, but now we have Gen AI, ChatGPT, suddenly it's like boom, everyone's using it in everything they do. So it's made it more accessible than ever. However, I would say the rate of adoption among business does remain surprisingly low. Like we saw some statistics earlier, and yes, 70% of businesses are using it, but how much are they really using it? That would be the challenge, I think you guys would all agree. Yes, everyone's using AI to some extent, but I don't think they're really embracing it and actually embedding it in their business as much as we can. But that's obviously going to change very, very rapidly. I already mentioned about the economic benefits. I really don't see enough of that. I think there needs to be more robust analysis around AI and what's the value to your business and how you should do it. Now the other point there is you have to do something with AI. I think if you don't, you're going to get left behind. So you can't wait for the economics to work, but you can start small and you can do something that makes sense. And then point number 4, I mentioned already, many of the clients I work with actually, so I'm not an AI implementer consultant, that's what some of my colleagues do. I'm a strategy, turnaround, performance improvement. So obviously they're not calling me about AI anyway, but when I get brought in, there's more fundamental issues. It's product, it's strategy, it's brand, it's supply chain. So the point I wanted to make here is, yes, AI is fantastic and can accelerate and enable a lot of those things, but if you don't know who your customers are, or you're not selling the right products that your customers don't want, or your stores are in the wrong place, or you can't get your inventory to the stores in the right way, AI is not going to fix all of that for you on its own. You have to have those fundamental processes, policies, data in place to be able to do that. And I mentioned earlier about ERP systems. Honestly, I would say if I walk into a new client, I would bet 60–70% of them, they're still struggling with some SAP or Microsoft implementation that they did. And that's no disrespect to those organizations. They're fantastic solutions. But a lot of organizations pay to implement them, and they don't successfully get it all the way. MRP is a classic example. I go into an organization, they have SAP, I'm like, great, show me your MRP data. They're like, oh, we don't use the MRP module. We didn't switch it on because we tried it, and then there was some issues with the warehouse, and then, we haven't had it working for 5 years. So, again, whilst AI is fantastic, a lot of these issues are still very prevalent in organizations and still need to be fixed. Last point, as I mentioned already, customer centricity has to be a central part of everything you do. And again, I would say not just AI. I see and observe a lot of clients in retail or consumer. Actually, I'm not sure they fully understand their customer yet or understand what those customers want. So even before you're even thinking about AI, your whole strategy needs to be customer-centric as a retailer. And again, I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but I don't see everyone doing that, to be honest. Okay, so I think that was everything I wanted to share. The last thing is, this is one of our frameworks called KPMG Trusted AI Framework. So we've created this whole framework about how to implement AI in a trusted and safe manner. If you scan this, and I'm sure we'll be sharing the presentations afterwards, you can download and see the framework and various other resources. Okay, so that was everything from me. I hope that was helpful. Happy to take any comments or questions if there are any.
Any questions? Anybody? I think it was super insightful. Should I ask one?
Sure, you can.
No.
Over to you then, Tricia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I think it was such an enlightening presentation, man. Key takeaways, at least from my perspective, is that we are still in the same cycle of find, buy, get, and trust. Find your product, ability to buy a product, ability to get your product, and then eventually trust the provider. And I think the other most important thing that he said is, all this is great, but are these advantages being transferred to the customer, who's actually spending money to buy a product? And I think that correlation is phenomenal. And I think that threads with what Mohammed said this morning. On the map, gave 12 sort of steps. Mohammed said 2, POC and POV. But those are some of the most important things that we all fundamentally should learn and follow, and not just jump directly into let's have AI, because one of the board members, guess what, says that we need to do anything. So, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I think next on the scene, we have one of the most senior, most executive, who was actually flown down from Singapore, specifically for this event. I would humbly want to request and invite Mr. Samir Dhingra, who is Regional Director, Retail and Consumer at Google Cloud for Japan and India. Please welcome Samir Dhingra. And with Samir, we have a familiar face. The guy we all love and respect, Anup Siritkul. Anup Siritkul is a Country Director, Google Cloud Thailand. Please welcome him as well.
is going to be very unique whereby we have two people to present. Yeah. So maybe let me introduce myself one more time. My name is Anop, or you can call me Anop, Country Director for Google Cloud Thailand. And also my partner, Samir, right? He taking care of all the retail, right? I would like to take maybe 5 minutes, right? Talk about Thailand a little bit before I passing on retail transformation to you, right? Okay, maybe let me start with this. You can see the logo here. I think all this logo you already know is a consumer application, right? I think everyone uses it every day, right? Search, YouTube, Map, Photo, Android. Everyone using it, right? But do we know that Google have been in Thailand more than 15 years? That's what we have in Thailand. We have been part of our digital economy in Thailand more than 15 years, right? You look at the impact of that. For example, how many SME use Google products to do their business today? A lot, right? Look at the mobile number in Thailand. Thailand is the country who have the average mobile phone is 1.4, meaning that everyone almost have 2 phones. Okay? Look at the internet number, right? If you look at internet number, according to the Thailand, they say we have around 72 million population, right? 90% of the whole area can access to internet, right? Think about it, right? If you can access the internet, meaning that we should have a good content. If no content, no people will access the internet. Okay? Last but not least, on the banking standpoint, right? Thailand, we have people who can access to the bank digitally 85%, which is very high, right? According to the research we have, those is an indicator that Thailand is very good in terms of digital economy, right? Of course, Google be proud and we are proud of it, right? When you look at this one, right? I give you example of, for example, YouTube, right? I think everyone use YouTube here, right? How is the experience of YouTube look like for you? Smooth? You like it, right? For us, right, we think about it. How should we do to help Thai people even more, right? Besides of the consumer application like this, you know, the technology behind all this application, I call it Google underlying technology, right? We have a good technology, which is we bring it into Google Cloud. Same technology with Google, right? We bring it in the Google Cloud, make it even better with AI. And then we can services not only consumer but business in Thailand even more, right? You think about our portfolio, we have infrastructure, development, data, security, collaboration, the whole portfolio, right? Power with the AI now. Think about this way, infrastructure, right? You know, infrastructure is a fundamental of everything. Let's say, if you need to manage infrastructure, how many knowledge you need? But now we put AI there. AI will tell you what happened with your infrastructure, what do you need to optimize them, what do you need to make sure that you protect them well. Another one is data, right? For example, data. If you have a lot of data, how can you take advantage or intelligence out of data? Very difficult. You have to hire very expensive data science to do it. But now with Google, we put intelligence into the data, meaning that you have data. We can tell them, say, generate your lookalike model, 12 of them, 20 of them, easily, right? That's how can make the platform become the next level. So we are also transform ourselves from cloud to cloud AI. Use the same underlying technology of the Google provide to Thailand, right? This is only few example, right? If I know that Central Job today, I will share the first example to be Central, sorry about that. Okay. For example, Bun Thawan, right? They have 10,000 SKU. When you approach them in the retail store, right? You ask them, what about this? They say, okay, hang on. They run back, open the catalog, come back and answer to you, right? Let's say compare A and B. They will run back again, right? Now we create AI, right? Or shopping agent for the employee, so they can serve their customer better. So right now you can ask them many questions, compare A to B, how much this one, and then they indicate all the back-end process for them, right? And then they don't launch to public yet because they want employee to make sure they test drive first, right? They want to make sure that they protect hallucination first, right, before they send it out, which is alright to KPMG as well, right? Second thing, right, this is from something I call detect retina disease, which is we do with the Radviti Hospital. The problem is, when you think about the AI, the problem in Thailand is we have eye doctor, only 3,000 eye doctor. We have potential of people who will be impact of the eye disease, 4 million. Right? They have no way that we can support it. It's like we think about something different, totally different. So that's why we use the picture scan eye to help doctors save a lot of time to serve their patient on that. And this is happening all really well, right? And last but not least, this one, we are working with the company called Tata, which is partnership with tourism in Thailand. Basically in Thailand, we have so many tourism, we have really expanded in Thailand, right? Sometimes we don't know where to go. Sometimes you want to plan a trip for your talents, your partner, whatever. You can go to the app and just say that, plan me a trip 4 days with parents and have a place for my kid, blah, 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 blah. They're going to plan it. They will get started with it. This is how we use AI. And all that we can talk about, right? And then, not only this one, right? We even take all this seriously, right? We invest, we just announced last month that we invest 1 billion into Thailand, right? What we invest, right? We invest in 4 things. Number one, we continue this one, right? Why we build data center in Thailand, right? Why we doing that? Because, let's say if we come into this country, we have to follow the rule in this country. I don't know whether you have been followed. We have something called cyber security law or cyber security act, which is if you want to use cloud, you have to pick the location in that country. Implement by 2026. Not that far. And our data center will be launched next year. Right? So that's why we do according to Thailand. Whatever global rate we follow, and we make it to comply with the local market. And then second thing, and third thing is, we're gonna help to build a lot of talent in Thailand, right? We have a class called Google Skill Boot, which is have more than 1,000 classes online. You can go there, just say that we are engineer, design the class for me, and you can attend. And of course, it's free. Okay? And last one, we continue working with our customer on the retail transformation. And then my colleague is going to talk to all the transformation here. Okay? Thank you so much. This is for my part for the overview first.
So I think just coming back to the topic of AI in retail, I think a lot has been said in the morning, so I'm just going to skip a few slides in between so that they are not repetitive. But what I want to do today is just give a little perspective in terms of how we are seeing some of these use cases come alive with many of the customers that we work with. And I think more importantly, how do we make it happen? I think a lot has been discussed and talked about. These are the XYZ use cases and so on and so forth. But I think most importantly, the question now on everybody's mind is how does it come alive? And that portion I will tackle a little bit within the 5 minutes I give this question. But I think most importantly, if you look across what's happening, all our experiences, consumer experiences are now AI infused. So they are hyper-personalized, customers want anticipatory service, quick response, and of course, now with all the technology available at their fingertips, they can really get very transparent look through your operations, where it is coming from, what is it inside, what is getting made, how it's getting disposed, and so on and so forth. And I think what's happening in terms of retail transformation is that these are the AI agents which are driving this transformation. So you see, you have consumer experiences, different consumer experiences driven by different agents today. And I think if not yet, in reality, but people are on the way of executing many of these AI agent frameworks, whether it is shopping assistants or data assistants and so on and so forth. I think the best way to show many of these use cases is to do a short video. So let me just play this video. It will also give you a little bit of grounding as to how we are seeing some of these use cases come to life. Please. Thanks. I think we made this video about 6 months ago. But the technology has moved so fast that many of the use cases are still very relevant. Of course, there are still the priority use cases, but the technology has really advanced them to the next level today. And I think what's happening is, and you saw Bob's presentation, and you saw KPMG also talking about it. What we are also seeing is that the majority of the use cases which are being implemented, although there are a plethora of use cases, once you start doing the use case roadmaps and mapping, you will hit about 50, 100 use cases that could actually happen. But the majority is all happening around customer service automation, transformation there, content creation, product descriptions, associate productivity is the big use case. And I think the other one, if everything comes together nicely, is around conversational commerce. Building conversational experiences, connecting multiple technologies. The interesting thing is, and I just told Mohammed that there's a lot of time between POC to POV to actually execution. I think we were just, and 6 months ago, we were finding that very, very relevant. And I think even a couple of months ago it was very relevant. I think now we are finding that the discussions and the conversations are shifting slightly. We just did a survey which just came out about last week. It was a global survey. And one interesting thing which are there is that, of course, pace of adoption has gone up significantly. But I think what is important is that about time to market. And in terms of the faster execution, it's typically taking about 6 months or so. And majority of the customers that we spoke to feel that it is taking about 6 to 7 months or so from idea conception to actual execution and rollout. I think that's a tremendous, thing that we are now beginning to see in the market. That the conversations are moving away from, what do I do, how do I do it, getting everybody together, to now there is a sense of urgency and at least the initial early use cases are getting implemented and executed in 6 months' time. The other important thing is that in terms of proof of value, I think majority, about 87% of the people, does this work? The 87% of the people surveyed approximately mentioned that they are seeing tangible increases in revenue or productivity and so on and so forth. So I think it is happening, it is real, it is no longer a good thing to have. And I think from Google's perspective, we are now beginning to impact many of these use cases across these 4 big areas. So you will see examples of many of these over the next few slides. I'll just skip through and run through them very, very quickly. But if you have any specific questions about this, do feel free to reach out to us later or partners, and we'll take you through that in more detail. The good thing is that early adopters are already now seeing improvements. So whatever I just showed to you with respect to the market research in terms of improvements and execution and time to market, there are organizations who are already implementing it full scale. And many of the use cases, whether it is Carrefour, whether it is Home Depot, Wendy's, Macy's, Priceline, Anup just mentioned about a few of the use cases in Ireland specifically. So each of these use cases is getting traction and getting implemented. The first one, of course, on everybody's mind is content creation. And I think content creation is now being looked across in multiple ways. And I'll give you a few examples. One of the content creation, the most easiest one which everybody was doing was more in terms of catalog enhancement, of creating web copies, marketing copies, doing it quickly, and so on and so forth. The other thing here, what some of the organizations have done, so if you look at Carrefour, they have actually created a whole marketing hub and linked it to all the APIs from the AI models, and so that they're able to do the whole process of concept creation and marketing campaign creation very quickly. And I think Ronak probably will also talk a little bit about this later in your presentation. What's new on top of that, content creation, is the advancements which have come in image generation and video generation. And I think this whole area of text prompt to images and text prompt to video generation is now really going a step above. So we have Imagine 3 and also the new model which is Veo, the video generation, which can really create very, very quickly, lifelike, very realistic images, and also video generation based on the prompts that you are putting in the computer. And it is really powerful. So when you are in the process of content generation, it is not just text content generation; it is also images, it is also videos. Now, on top of that, what is new is this whole video generation recraft. So imagine if you are a marketer and you have a 60-second clip or a video which is already there, and you want to now reuse that across multiple formats. You want to create shorts, you want to create Insta, content, you want to do something else, you want to create a 5-second reel, XYZ. You can do all that using the recrafting of the video generation, of the videos that you post. So basically what it does is that it automatically sort of separates the various essential segments across the video streams and reconnects them based on the formats that you want and adds the context around it, the music, the background, and so on and so forth. It is really, really very powerful, and it is where basically how the content generation is all coming together. Text to images, text to video, video generation. I'm just going to do a 60-second clip in the next one, which gives this whole video regeneration perspective into reality.
I'm scared of this new flavor. Yes, I'll make you feel so danger. Unpredictable, I'm danger.
Think about it, deconstructing the video and deconstructing it from voice, text, images, context, and reconstructing it again across multiple formats, changing the backgrounds, changing the context, creating the copy. I think these are extremely powerful tools which are now really changing the way marketing is being done and marketing teams have been working together. Now, the next one is on conversational experiences. Now, we've all been exposed to chatbots and assistants on the website, but I think what it has done in conversational experiences is to sort of take it up to the next level. Because conversational experiences are not just about chatbots. It is not just about responding to a certain context. Because what it does is it's a combination of search, AI, recommendation, catalog enrichment, and your conversation. That's what makes it a powerful scenario. If you're able to connect this front end with the back end commerce systems, Lorna could talk a little bit about that. You can really create a connected conversational commerce capability right from your front end platform to your back end systems and architectures. This is just an example of, so if you want to go hiking in Chiang Mai, I want to buy boots. So what does that mean? What do I need to do for a XYZ hike next month? It needs to have the product catalog knowledge graph, it needs to have the location, point of interest, how is the weather at that time, what is the activity I'm doing, what has been my past purchases. It needs to contextualize these multiple parameters together to be able to give a relevant answer. And the better it becomes, the more integrated this is, the better it becomes. And this is the technology which, it sounds easy to implement, but to implement this, you have the tools, but to be able to execute this, you need a lot of these things to come together. You need the catalog enrichment, you need the data, you need the ability to do recommendations, you need to have the history of the customer, a 360 view of XYZs. You have 10 different use cases under this one use case, which needs to get implemented as a foundation use case. Operational efficiency, I think this is again flip the conversational commerce to customer service. So the same conversational capabilities and the ability to derive context from the text and to be able to respond quickly, to understand the sentiment, to create tasks. This is now primarily typically the first use case which many of the organizations have implemented on their AI platforms. Because it is easy to implement and it is pretty much standardized and productized. This is another one, and similar to operational efficiencies, associate productivity. So creating I think Mohammed spoke about it in his presentation. They're creating a chatbot, AI chef. Yeah. This is what most of the grocers are doing and large retail chains also doing in terms of creating the repository so that associates and everything, the task management becomes easier and so on and so forth. Another very, very interesting use case. And of course, vision AI has really leapfrogged from where it was. I remember 6 years ago, I used to head a very interesting organization which was into shelf execution and AI in retail. And from there onwards to where we are today, it is not just about topical, image recognition or SKU recognition. It is about how you contextualize and connect it with your ERP systems and your inventory systems and your task management in the store so that your in-store execution becomes better. So this is also, which is now coming together. Coding, look at what we are doing within our organization. Sundar was mentioning during his speech recently that about 25% of the code getting generated in the system is now getting assisted through AI, which is tremendous in an organization of the size like ours. And of course, not to forget, what we call as back office of the future. So these are not very prominent use cases which gather attention, but procurement, HR, travel assistance, tax planning, accounts payable, HR help desk. There's a tremendous amount of uses and use cases in each of these elements, which can be implemented using many of the AI technologies today, and people are now beginning to do this depending on the priorities and values. So how do we bring this to life? I think Anup mentioned it in the beginning as well. So there is of course, I don't need to reiterate it, but there is a rich history of research, of course, in the organization. But most importantly, we have now and we have prioritized building a platform which is enterprise ready and which is vertically integrated. And the reason I'm saying platform which is enterprise ready and vertically integrated because you're all here representing your organizations and enterprises. It's not a consumer play. We're not talking about a fancy app in the front which is doing ticketing or XYZ. We're talking about how do you build infrastructure behind the AI platforms. Sorry, why is it going back? Okay. I think the human intervention created this problem. Go further. Go further. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah. So, and I think most importantly, but if you still want to talk about language models, we are still, as an organization, right at the top and in front. So this is the Forrester, page was there. So if you look at it, the left one is where the AI foundation models for language, and the right one is where the AI infrastructure solutions for there. I think both sides are doing well. And this is the AI ecosystem and the platform that I'm talking about. So the Vertex AI platform, this is extremely important to understand how to do this because ultimately when you go back to your offices, and if somebody, the organization, the CEO says this is what they want to do, you will have to work on a platform like this to be able to make all your AI use cases. It will not happen. So, and this is an AI ecosystem in which you have the model garden, which has first party and third party language models. You have the model builder. If you don't want off the shelf, you can tweak your models. Then you can build your agents. So there is an app builder, agent builder. You can build your agents and then use it across the organization. I think in the system, it is important to understand that there are now about 160 plus models available, language models available. This is really powerful. It is not a conversation about Gemini versus ChatGPT versus Anthropic versus Claude versus this. It is about how do you bring the best together and how do you use what is, each one is relevant. But you need an ecosystem to bring this together. So you've got the Gemini foundation models at the top, you've got our other foundation models. I spoke about Imagine, I spoke about Neo, and a couple of others, and regeneration. There are task-specific models which have been in the system for quite some time. Text to speech, speech to text, natural language translation, Doc AI. Doc AI has been there for some time, and Doc AI is now being used aggressively to do your whole procurement, your accounts payable, your catalog enrichment, and so on and so forth. And then you've got domain-specific models. And Gemini, you will hear a lot more as you get comfortable around it and as you start using it. It's truly multimodal and it's really very, very good from a retail use cases perspective. Whether it is you're looking at product information, images with your text, marketing campaigns, shopping, and so on and so forth. So it is able to then bring together all these contexts into many of the use cases that I mentioned earlier. But fortunately, it is not just about language, only language models. It is about platforms. And it is important that we understand this and don't get swayed by this model is better than this is 2% better, this is 5% better. But ultimately, what is more important, what is going to be most important? Is it a secure platform? Is your data governance being managed properly? Are your organizational IP, is your organizational IP getting protected? Are your employees sending information World Wide Web, which is supposed to be confidential? How are you managing those things? How is the infrastructure which is managing this whole platform and capabilities scaling up and down? And of course, the responsible AI discussion is a very, very important discussion. So, to give you a perspective on the platform, and I will stop after this 1 or 2 slides, is right from data to deployment, you can manage across this. And you heard what the central retail CTO was saying, that of course the proof of value is very important, but what is also important is that the data has to be there. How do you manage that? You cannot have your data being managed here and it is somebody else doing that, and somebody else is doing that, and none of the systems are talking to each other. And that is where I see most of the problems in terms of stakeholder and also the data management in the system. So if you're able to bring this all together, right from your data management to your AI ML platforms to generating insights onto cloud infrastructure, everything goes like that. I think generally the way we are going, I think we realized it pretty early, is in terms of the organization direction and value that we can provide to the ecosystem. That we are not building consumer applications on top of the AI platforms. We are not an ISP. So you will not find us with a commerce platform, let's say, fine. But you will find us working very closely with the commerce platform so that we do whatever we can to enhance the capabilities behind Fine and work with their engineering and management teams to sort of raise it a little bit. So whether it is low code, no code, or full code, we've got tooling for every hill. Whether you can take off-the-shelf foundation models, you want to tweak and customize your foundation models, or you want to then build agents on top of the agents. You can do many of these things together, and it is a really, really powerful ecosystem. And I think we have found our niche in terms of where we are headed with respect to the whole AI story. You cannot do this alone. This is not, we don't have everything together. So of course, this is an exercise in partnerships and alliances, whether it is working with partners like Fine and AquaOrange, or working across other technology vendors across market applications. So to just bring this together from Google Cloud's perspective and where we are working with many of the customers in retail and CPG today, is across 4 big areas. One is across the whole data transformation story. What is it that we can do across our platforms? The second one is around this whole area around getting this unified commerce or integrated commerce platforms together, helping you build if you do not yet have one, and if you have one, then helping you build experiences on top of that for your customers to engage with. That's very important. The third one is, of course, in terms of the operational capabilities, and this is there are a lot of solution sets come around supply chain, the whole infrastructure management, application management, and so on, so sustainability. And then, not to mention the store modernization piece. I think this is a huge elephant in the room as well, because this is typically the last one people address with CapEx is very high, it's not high, impact is very high. But there are ways and means where we are seeing a lot of activity happening and a lot of growth happening with respect to creating a more connected store. It's a journey with respect to store transformation. How do you first make your store a little bit more intelligent? So it's a data story. How do you then, once it has the intelligence inside, how do you connect the store with multiple channels? Because that's another different discussion that we should have is how do you sell across multiple channels? The headless channel engagement, I'm sure it will come up later on in the commerce discussion. how do you make that leap? And that's where we currently play. So where are we seeing in our advice to our customers, and where are we seeing and how we are approaching the market with respect to driving value? I think it's a very relative decision point with every customer. With every customer is at a different stage of digital maturity, different stage of journey. Their priorities are different. The strategic intent is different. The kind of data which is available is different. The value that they see is very different. So you have to find for everybody a sweet spot which works. And so depending on that, we have somebody who starts with customer service first, somebody who starts with modernizing e-commerce platforms first, somebody who has everything, wants to really double down on conversational commerce and so on. So I think it's a very personal journey, but the tools are available, and we are very excited to partner with many of you here, and hope we get an opportunity to work with some of you as we progress on this stuff. With that, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time.
I think that was absolutely wonderful. Obviously, Google is always ahead of the curve. Thank you, Kunal. Thank you, Samiji. Samiji is my name. Okay, so we post this. We will have 30 minutes networking break. But please don't go. We have locked all doors anyways, so you can't leave. I'm just kidding. But we have very interesting panel discussion after this. And then we have few very interesting, and this is probably the launch day for some of those initiatives. So I'm not stealing thunder from our partners, which they want to showcase, which is absolutely revolutionary. So please hang on, enjoy the networking break, and then we'll gather again here in 30 minutes. Thank you very much, everybody.
พี่พักขึ้นหน้า
panel that we got together and can't wait to have this started. So without further ado, let me introduce one panelist at a time. Let me start with Mr. Axel Binder, who's the CEO of Exponential. Please, sir. Have you done? Take a round of applause. Then we have Kundana Daniel, who's the Data Communication GQ panel. Please welcome her with a big round of applause. Next, we have Khun Prisan, who needs no introduction, who's an Executive Vice President NEPA. Thank you, Khun Prisan, please. Then we need to invite Khun Don, who's Senior Vice President Sun City. Khun Don, most welcome, please. And last but not the least, let me welcome Ronald Modi, who's a partner and who's a Chief Business Officer at Fine. Ronald, please. And the person who would be anchoring this panel is also one of our partners, who's a leader and a CEO of ThoughtSpark, and he's part of Syndigo ecosystem. Let's welcome Samar Mehta. One last thing, this is very customary from a cultural standpoint. For those of you who have been here before, may have seen this. This is a small token of appreciation. If you don't mind, may I?
Hello guys, so I hope everybody's excited and I've been chatting with you guys and I feel a little bit comfortable, but my goal is not to create a controversy. That's exactly what Rushik told me, but then, I don't know, let's see how this plays out, okay? Be nice guys. Alright, so guys, I'm really super excited and the theme for today is AI for retail. And all of these guys represent a very diverse group across different companies, verticals, and I think that all of them have been in some capacity already adopting AI into their practices and see a future in AI. And our goal in this panel discussion is going to be to learn from them, to understand what they are doing, also understand maybe what are the challenges that they're facing, and some of your recommendations. What do you guys think you should do or avoid, right? And that's, having said that, I'm going to now get to probably one of our first questions, and I'm going to start with Axel. So, I know you represent, you're working with CLP, and it represents retail and lifestyle, and it's a diverse brand, right? And I wanted to, kind of understand, what is your view on AI in customer experiences, especially because earlier panelists spoke about conversational commerce and other ways of engaging with your end customers. But how do you think AI has enhanced the customer experiences, and how do you see it shaping interactions with customers in physical spaces and digital spaces? I mean, how do you see that transforming?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And then maybe as a background, I'm running Exponential, which is a service provider or part of the CMU group, working for a group on innovation initiatives, the digital platform. The super platform is one of them, but also we're also working, co-innovating with other partners of the group and so on. I would say it's actually, from a customer point of view, I can go through each of the customer flows and then they all can be supported by AI. I mean, from our perspective, even CMU is not really a real retailer, a more property company. So it's a mall operator, to be specific amongst a few other things. I would say that we are looking at customer experience, as you said, chat commerce is one. Although, again, Thai language still here and there, not quite there, to be specific. So the responsiveness and the accuracy has to be there. So models are getting very close, very good. So we launched one voice avatar actually in the mall, so you can, in multiple languages, Thai is one of them. So you can interact and ask where the Starbucks is or something, and then some, is there a promotion and whatever, right? It will respond. But again, here for me, what's more important is that we all kind of used to feature shopping, right? So and then you end up with feature shopping. The issue is you end up with another 100 different vendors, which are then difficult to manage, right? So I think for me, from my perspective, is the question is, okay, what is then the strategic approach there, rather than thinking about the next cool feature? And I can tell you, for personalization, for video analytics, voice, we're using AI on almost all flows now. And in a big degree also generative AI. But I think the real question is, in all our different organizations, how are we strategically approaching it? How are we transforming it? How are we making our work, creating AI models highly productive, so that actually we have a turnaround of a week or 2 weeks in these projects? I think for me that is actually a big challenge. Rather than saying I'm going feature shopping and I see this is a cool feature and so just to say. And what I would think is maybe on the business aspect or the customer aspect, if customers were to understand that they are that you're putting a chatbot in there and they are not aware, it could also backfire. And that has been tried over and over. And there is a chance that customers won't understand it, right? So if you're straightforward on this, that's fine. But again, specifically if you're dealing in the affluent class space, then I would say there's a risk of backfire. To cheat you or something. You don't want to have a negative sentiment. So the way we deal with customers, for me, becomes more important. And then driving the right productivity and innovation around each of the individual, let's say, flows between people.
No, I totally agree with you that the whole perspective of being strategic versus feature shopping, because we're all excited about the amount of stuff that's come out in the last 1 year. Like every day you see something new about digital commerce that can be achieved, and hundreds of startups really presenting new things that can be done. But a strategic take from the management on what is the value add and how do you go is extremely important, and I totally agree with you on that. Anybody wants to add anything to Axel's point of view? Yeah. All right. Okay. Then I'll go to the next one, and this one is for you, Donna. We have, I think we've heard a lot of you using AI as a part of your marketing and initiatives, and we were speaking about the amazing launch, the new line in casuals, and I really want to understand your perspective from really being out there in the market and really being in the forefront of customer experiences. How you have adopted AI and how is it helping your team, and what your experience was like with the new launch.
Yeah, I really see AI as the great equalizer for marketers, because
you know, especially for GQ Apparel as an SME, you know, we can now execute these big ideas that before would have been out of budget or too time consuming. Now using generative AI, we're able to execute, you know, these big ideas in a really cost-effective way. And I think another good example, you know, besides our casual wear, is earlier this year we were developing this idea for our cooling boxer, which the whole idea of the campaign was so comfortable you feel like you're wearing nothing. And so the visual for that, of course, was, you know, for us, was a guy floating above Bangkok, naked, while wearing boxers. But, you know, for our workflow and how we're using AI, basically I sat down and used Midjourney and pulled around with it a bit and created this kind of visual that I really liked. And then I handed that over to our photographer who went and shot the resource of our real product without a model. And then we gave it to our retoucher who spent, you know, about 2 hours compositing the image. And then I gave it to a graphic designer, and, you know, within half a day we had this incredible key visual that we loved, that we ended up using in our omni-channel marketing. So just with these few tools and just a little bit of time and effort from our own internal team, we were able to execute this visual that, you know, you can imagine before trying to shoot it in a conventional way would have been incredibly expensive, you know, and trying to hoist a model on Bangkok, right? Just the whole concept wouldn't have been viable. So this is how, you know, we're using it to kind of punch above our weight, I would say, in the market in terms of our marketing efforts in a very time and cost-effective way.
No, that's an amazing experience, and I also want your point of view on how's the adaptability within your team on this? Because while you said, right, you and leadership are surprised to see as a marketer so aware of the tools and everything, you know, to go into there and you getting your hands in and trying to do something. But how about your team reacting to this? How much you push them to, you know, get comfortable with these tools and start to use them? Can you give some insights on that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a choice. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's very interesting because when we first knew we wanted to operationalize AI into our creative workflow, especially the generative AI is advancing so fast, we knew we needed to start. And I kind of looked at it from a change management perspective. You know, there are the early adopters and there's kind of the late adopters, and I'm seeing that within my own team. And so what I kind of focused on was the early adopters. How can we upskill them as fast as possible, right? So we did honestly incentivize training sessions. You know, I made it a competition where you would win a box of chocolates, maybe not the best prize, but it was compelling for the team. Let me tell you, they were fighting for those chocolates. But you know, we made a kind of a competition. Hey, who can generate the most interesting advertising visual in the next 30 minutes and pitch it to the team? We'll feed it into ChatGPT, have ChatGPT vote on who's the winner, right? So we integrated each tool in every aspect of the process, but it really got people experimenting with it and playing with it in a, you know, in a like more fun and casual way. And through that process, honestly, the reaction was very positive because the feedback that I've gotten from the team is, oh, the tools, like because of the language barrier, it feels inaccessible to me, or you know, I don't quite know how to use it for my own work yet. Those are the two big pieces of feedback I've gotten. But through those kind of fun learning experiences, it started to break down those barriers, and people were able to see the potential and figure out ways to work around the language barriers. You know, for example, for prompting Midjourney, I got the team using ChatGPT to type in Thai and have ChatGPT translate into English into a prompt that they could actually feed into other tools. yeah, so that was very effective, and there's still a long way to go, but a lot more people on our team have started using it.
No, that's amazing insights because one of the pushbacks that we get when I'm hearing about AI is that, especially generative AI, is that the productivity increases directly proportional to the individual's willingness to contribute to it. And I would kind of classify myself as like a mega doctor. I've only gotten myself the GPT on my phone like 2 months ago, and I love it now. I'm hooked, but I feel that but until I did really think of it as a friend for me, I did not get the value from it, right? And I think that's very important. I think the box of chocolate would have saved you a lot of dollars in the future in marketing investments. So very great insights. Thank you. So, the next question is for Kun Prasan, and I want to understand, because you're working with the government a lot and you're representing, the government in certain, or advising the government in certain areas. I wanted to get your point of view on, how is the Thai government looking at the AI, AI transformations, and what are some of the initiatives from the government point of view to promote, companies to adopt AI and work with AI?
Thank you very much for having me to this session. So I'm working at the Digital Economy Promotion Agency, which tries to promote the digital to the Thai, not only the Thai citizens, but the company, SME, and community itself. So what I think is like we are like matchmaking between the technology provider and the user. We are focused only on not a large crowd, but we work with a large crowd, but we work financially help or partially help with the SMEs, communities, and agriculture. So to helping matching between these tools, of course we have a Thai startup. We also are angel investor on the Thai startup as well to implement some of the AI tools on and initiate some of the new ideas of the startups. However, in order to service between these two, the service provider or digital provider need to have the standards. That's why we create some of the standards like ISO 2902110 or something like that, and so you have to have to set up standard in order to be able to enter to the service in our data ecosystems. And with this one, if you are eligible for this one, the service of the digital provider is eligible to the Thailand catalog. Catalogs says like that, if you use this catalog, if you're SME, so you can have a tax incentive using the products. Plus, the company enter the Thai catalog can be able to have like a glimpse of the government procurement, which is a very big budget. So with this one, we can help the large crowd to put your products in the list, and then the government, for example, procure every year. So have the catalog in the procurement systems for Thais. This could help the startup, small company, and technology can have like a very select for the government. Of course, for the policy in AI, we not only we are not pushed from the bottom starting to build like AI model or something like that, but we would like to help win-win situations with the existing AI company and focus on the application size. So one of the things is like, of course, you need many software from the outside. From Google or Microsoft, something like that. So we focusing on the manpower, and then the cost or paid cost from the Google or Microsoft or or another tech provider, if you register in our systems, which is called digital future or something like that, the company also using the software. Of course, it's not built from the zero, but you learn from this one and build on top of the things. So if you send the staff to learn and pay the tax incentive, will bring back to that company as well. That's what we trying to do. Also, the manpower is not enough in Thailand because we can produce 50,000, but we require 500,000. So we would like to bring the policy or initiate some of the smart visa for new graduate at the university like 600 or something like that can come and stay in Thailand and join a job, technology job in Thailand as well. That would we like to push people over. And for the cloud, so the thing is what we try to initiate matching between data provider and the user is the data provider need to have the issue standard. Issue standard stands for have three things that we consider: safety, functionality, and cybersecurity. This is include software and hardware. Safety, maybe you test in the test center, and then the test center is guaranteed. Functionality means if you promote, you have to do it. And cybersecurity is we prove PDPA, and we consider about the cloud. The cloud company needs to be digitalized, and that's what we are considering. So within this standard, we can be able to mention that you can be able to use the software with the tech incentive. So with the large crowd, and then with the large crowd that already have their own standard, own system, you can send them staff learn and get the incentive to improve your software. And also, if you are user, if you use the software, you also get incentive from this one. Plus, some year to year that we have digital transformation fund. So we consider that with the technology that we implement and use very costly. So we think that initial investment is we can help partially invest on that one in order to cut out faster than digital transformation by financially support for the medium enterprise. For example, if you like to implement ERP or if you like to implement a CRM system or some of the SCADA system, so we can be able to pay half of the implementation, but with the limited budget. That's what we are doing. As for this year, if the software they have included AI in the systems, and if you are registered in the catalog, this year we have a project that SME can use this software. We have about 100 companies can be able to apply to this category. Also, if you are a factory or in the industrial size, we also have a bigger budget to implement software tools or the AI tools into their production line. This is what we try to do. And also, if you are in the small restaurant or something like that, we have a software as a service that you can be able to lend out and then use it for at least minimum 6 months in order to try out the AI tools that point of sale or something like that include with the data analysis that also we will be able to support that small size that be able to apply the software to the system. That's what we are doing with this fiscal year budget in order to implement the AI to the SME and small enterprise. Yes, that's what we're doing.
No, that is amazing insight because I think you're incentivizing people across the organizations where you're thinking not just about large businesses but also medium and small businesses, but you're also incentivizing from people point of view to make sure that you have the right talent, as well as incentivizing financially, of course, really helps because we've seen that companies usually hesitate when they want to do digital transformations or adopt new technologies because of the cost associated to become an early adopter. So that is amazing to know. My next question is for Kumnon, and I know that you're a real estate leader in residentials, and you've been with the volume of work that your company does. How do you see AI really transforming your experiences as well as your journey for customers that you're catering to?
For customer, right? Customer. Essentially, it's a full service real estate developer, right? So we take care of our customers from the beginning stage of the ownership to the point where they need to expand their family, get a new residence, and perhaps, like I said, already leasing it out. So for our high net worth customers, they have we have like a specialty like assigned to them to support them until they services and everything. But I think there's a great opportunity for us to use AI, like generative AI, to provide more tailored services for other segment of customers that is not that currently doesn't have like that kind of services. So that's something that I see as a great potential. And we've been experimenting with several technologies, but it's not quite there to the point that we're confident to deploy to our customers just yet. Yeah, because it's a high value transaction and it could go wrong. So like right now we are tackling with the low hanging fruit first.
No, that's fantastic, and I totally understand because you don't want some of your high-worth customers to feel like Axel was saying, right? You don't want to feel like, hey, I'm talking to a chatbot when I'm really buying real estate worth millions of baht, So of course we see that, and absolutely, I think in all honesty, I don't think when you say that you're not quite there yet, I think nobody is because the technology is evolving so fast, and I think we're all trying to catch on and get to latch on to what's going to be the next big thing, but I think nobody's quite there yet.
The fact is that the tech companies will always be ahead of us, so there's no point trying to be at that stage. The business is always lagging.
Fair enough. No, that's great insights, good one. And my next one, Ronak, is to you. So, I think you've been part of the e-commerce world for quite some time. You've seen pretty much the adoption of, I think, smartphones to really, commerce going from website to marketplaces to literally now just on phones, right? And how do you see, some of the customer experiences changing in the digital commerce world, and what are some of the applications that you see for AI in customer experiences?
Thank you so much, and first of all, pleasure to be here. For the unknowns, so Find is a large commerce platform. We run and operate out of India. We work at scale with a lot of leading global brands, right? So we are fortunate enough that way to be able to work with these brands to constantly innovate. What we've seen over the last 8 to 10 months is rapid adoption in AI. So there's a lot of talk and buzzword around AI, but there's also a lot of chatter around what are the real world use cases. And I think of all the use cases, there are some that are low-hanging fruits, like the panel here mentioned, and some that we've seen in the presentations before. But I think from a customer experience standpoint, if we were to take down e-commerce into two set of journeys. You have one which is product discovery, where consumers come and discover your products, and then the second is the transactional journeys where they buy, and then there's a lot of support required, right, in terms of post-purchase experience. Typically, in the portfolio of companies that we work with, we measure a metric called a Net Promoter Score, right, an NPS score. Companies have great product discovery experiences. Companies have great UI, branding, great products. So the NPS score from the time customers browsing online to purchase are really, really high. But the NPS score from the time customers place their order online to the time it gets delivered is really, really low. Right? And that is because there are multiple systems, multiple people, multiple processes that are involved that are not always in your control after the customer has placed an order. Right? And I think it's very evident from all the presentations that we saw today as well, is that conversational commerce, chatbot for support, and using AI to automate a lot of these is something that we are seeing rapid adoption across all retail use cases. Right? So we work with a very large customer in the Middle East. They get about 8,000 support tickets every day, right? And they have an army of 800 people managing these support use cases on a day-to-day basis, right? We've seen them adopting AI chatbots to drastically reduce their support cost, and it's not only about support cost but also the customer experience, where they've been able to bring down the resolution times by about 80%, right? And they've been able to not only respond to customer queries but also resolve customer queries using AI, and then they've seen a massive improvement in the NPS score. So I think that is one use case. On the product discovery side, with generative AI and large language models, what has happened is that a lot of constraints around your data not being right are being solved by LLMs. To give you an example, today we see a lot of search experiences that are broken. Right? I'm searching for a blue jeans, but I see a black jeans as well. Right? And that is mostly because the metadata that is added by somebody, maybe a content writer or a merchandiser, that data is absent, right? But we've come to an age where AI can essentially help us enrich that content and metadata and make your content more searchable, right? And we are seeing companies even go one step beyond, where they're saying, hey, can we use large language models and AI to use image to do search, right? So we're seeing people saying, hey, I like this dress, do you have something similar? Right? So that I don't have to really go through the entire search experience, filter experience. You can typically embed your AI within your search experience and provide an AI visual search experience.
No, that's amazing, and I think the next wave of search discovery will change. And I think earlier, somebody spoke about how agents are going to be there. I honestly am waiting for the experience when I'm actually talking. I have a sales-like experience, like somebody I'm talking to on an e-commerce website, because I think that's going to be the real next wave. Instead of me figuring out I want a shirt and then I filter down what type of shirt and then try to actually come to a product. So that absolutely, I think AI is going to be some of our best salespeople, best support people in the future, and I totally agree that how that's going to go. Before actually we take more questions from here, I would love to hear from people on the floor here, because I think I would love to open the dialogue for folks to ask questions to the panel. So we have you can just ask questions, guys?
This is to practically everybody, but primarily to Kundana. What, according to you, is the single most challenge that you're trying to find a solution for using AI, whether it is related to your product discovery, merchandising, pricing, or supply chain, or maybe part of or combination of the two.
Right, so maybe I can answer from, the marketing communications perspective. Because I think the biggest problem kind of we have at GQ Apparel, honestly, is, time and resource for our large catalog of products. And when I talk about that, I actually mean our conventional photography needs, because it's very time consuming and it's very expensive. So, what we found has been a massive solution for us is actually supplementing our photography needs with AI tools. And, this has lifted kind of a big kind of problem we had before, which was being able to get product imagery out fast enough and, into the market as fast as our product development was happening. Because, sometimes samples are delayed, right? You can't go to the studio in time, you can't get a model, there are all these kind of long process issues. And so being able to use AI to help speed up that process in a very cost-effective way has been an incredible solution for, our business.
And that's incredible. Thank you.
Question, I just had a question. Many of you are also users in execution, leaders in your respective organization. Which is the biggest challenge that you find today in executing some of these potential that you're seeing in terms of use cases and transformation? What is the biggest challenge? Anybody?
I think I can tell you from a standpoint where we work with a lot of companies. We feel the biggest challenge is actually internalizing adoption of AI, right? And training your teams to essentially start thinking about how can they start using AI in various ways to make themselves more productive. If they are more productive, they will be able to do more work and hence give you more throughput, right? I believe it would possibly go a long way if companies start creating training programs like the ones that Donna mentioned, where if you start creating internal champions, it would essentially translate into you doing something right for the customer. Right? So I think I would put that on the top of my list.
That's very interesting, Roland, because I always used to think it was cost versus people and also the know-how of the technology, but you put in people before the cost, and that really is a different perspective. Anybody else wants to pitch in on that? I certainly thoughts.
Well, I would say from my perspective, looking after different streams and also working with different organizations, my impression is there are more ideas that you can do, basically, right? I mean, there will always be some people, and there is a new transformation journey, and AI, of course, is a transformation of everything we do. It will touch every job. I mean, even security guards and so on, right? I mean, everybody would have different tools. But I think there will always be some people who slow in adopting or less interesting. Even on a panel, there's someone who just 2 months ago used ChatGPT, right? So and then that's fine, right? I mean, it doesn't allow you to every single person. But for me, it's actually more really around there are too many ideas, too many things you could do, which is what you pick, right? Is it productivity, is it revenue, and even there in each of these domains, and I have seen all the slicing and dicing of McKinsey and Bain and so on. Even there, you can start changing without it, right? I mean, it's just too much. And then there are also other things to do, which I mean, just renovating and maybe in tech, maybe looking at tech debt or whatever you have, right? I mean, there are many things you have to do, not only AI. So putting the right priorities and then guessing what would really make the biggest impact for the business, what makes sense, and so on. I think that for me is always an ongoing question. I'm also always excited about these topics, so we cannot also go fast enough, actually.
Yeah, thanks for that. I think exactly like you said, right? Too many things coming our way. It's like you go to a candy store, you see the candies and you want to try everything, but then how do you prioritize and what do you do? Next one is for Krisan. I have a question around the regulations and angle and compliance from a government point of view. Is there a perspective already forming within the government around how to, because AI is driven by data, how to protect data, and how to ensure that there's no biasness or those kind of things with AI? So is there a perspective around regulation and compliance?
Tell you the truth, I think currently there is no apply on the ethic or something like that on AI. We discussion and then there will be regulations, but currently in the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society, we have an organization which is PDPC, and then the cybersecurity. We also put a tag on. So currently, the other organization also watching on the how to say applying on the ethical as well. But the implementation, I think, is like because AI is currently exists, and then rule and regulation will be follow on that. But I don't think it's fast enough. That's what we currently situation in Thailand.
Well, that's great to know, and at least the government's thinking about it, and there's something coming. At least that gives us a heads up, to watch out.
One point, right? I mean, I think this is quite a tricky topic, regulation. Not getting into the politics of it, obviously, but just saying, if I see that some of the IT vendors restrict technology from Europe because of the regulation, right? I mean, clearly, some more standardized approach across multiple nations are needed to allow innovation, but also to protect businesses and consumers, of course, which makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, exactly. Regulation shouldn't be a limiting factor. It should be more supporting and enhancing, and like you said, focus on ethical way of doing business. I totally agree to that. So, one question to you is that we spoke about customer experiences, but in a business like yours, I think with a lot of data, the possibility of using that data to do analytics to identify potential customers and contextualize them. We spoke a lot about contextualizing today. Do you think the AI can really help you in those areas as well, or are you already seeing some traction out there from your back? In terms of in the analytics and targeted marketing, identifying customers and those journeys. Yes, already our marketing team is already using like AI to target customers. Yes, that is something that we already we've been using that for quite a while. Yeah, and I think I'd like to add that I think similar to Chico, we've been using like generative AI for rapid product development as well, because sometimes when the product is something, and you give it to the illustrator, to the facade and everything, and there were one guy came in and why don't we use this generative AI to do, and we had some training mostly and right now it's being pushed as a standard operating procedure to use generative AI to before they actually go into
there was an interesting topic. I have a follow-up question, if I may. I think what we've been hearing is that most of us have implemented some or the other form of AI. My question is to the panelists: what happens to the companies who want to start AI? What is the starting point? And who owns AI? Because I think some of the discussions that happen are, is it a marketing that owns AI? Is it IT? Who owns the AI? And then sort of executes it. Your inputs will be valuable.
In my opinion, I think everybody owns AI, not just IT. Like many things, like when the discussion starts, you turn to IT and like, hey, let's do this. But at Sanctuary, like we have like top management like on the same like AI committee, and they might not have the technical like understanding of everything, but IT is a part of it. The business do have some idea of it, and that's the way it works at Sanctuary. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a slightly different opinion. So I agree that everyone needs to own AI. But I think the fundamental question to ask is who owns the outcome, right? So the team, the person that owns the outcome has to adopt AI in ways that will make them more productive, that will make them move much faster, that will make them win.
Yeah, I think I agree to Ronak because I think that once it's outcome driven, then it becomes easier to sell to more, make investments more realistic, and probably identify some kind of ROIs on things, especially when you're thinking of much more expensive, deeper tech around asset value.
Maybe to add, I would have said is that it depends also what does it mean, right? I mean, if I buy or use ChatGPT license, I mean, just to stick to that very simplistic example, then I would say it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, anybody who wants it, and it's more probably a procurement question whether different departments are just able to buy it. But on the other side, I would say is if it's a technology journey, right? So we are building some workflows for marketing, which obviously so you can use Midjourney and this and that, but again, it's their flow to automate it, you work campaign trade and so on. So for me, it can only be technology owned, right? I mean, as far as that concern is. So why would that topic just suddenly be different? And for sure, business analyst is not going to do the coding to implement the workflow, right? If that's what is required. So I think it depends a bit what actually we're talking about. But every role, they have their job and they contribute to the outcomes, I would say.
Sorry, I have one more. Now, I think, and probably the last one from mine, I apologize. I think that's a great perspective. Everybody owns depending on the outcome, depending on where they fit into that ecosystem. There is an inherent fear that we've seen in North America, that we've started seeing in Thailand also, that AI would steal my job. How true is that? And is that really an impact that you have seen within your organizations?
Well, I can see that my development team, like coders, programmers, they work more efficiently, but they're still there. They're much more effective with AI. So not there just yet.
What's an interesting case study within our organization was one of our customer support executive transitioned to becoming a developer. Right? So he started building applications and self-taught himself, how to code. Not a large part of product, but he's contributing in other ways. Right? So I think the mindset needs to shift from is AI going to take my job to how can AI help me get better at my job. I think as long as we instill that mindset as an organization, I think the fear that I will lose my job to AI does not necessarily exist anymore.
Well, I would say, will people lose the job they do today? 100% sure, because these jobs are just not going to exist anymore, right? I think the question is, what will happen to each of these job profiles in the future, right? So it's not, and I have to say, it's my own jobs, and jobs in my organizations keep constantly changing, right? I mean, it's like, never seen I'm in the industry for 30 years. I have never seen any job staying the same, right? I mean, everybody is adjusting and changing. So this one also, but of course, if someone would have the opinion, I want to be a call center agent picking up the phone the rest of my life, well, the total time becomes sooner, right? Because these jobs are definitely going to go away the way they are today, being emphasizing on this, right? So I would say is that more than ever before, we need to focus on evolving our jobs, adopting, being fast adopter, understand how AI and other technologies potentially impact it, and then adjust what I do and how I do it, and maybe also go for different jobs. Governments can help, and I know the Thai government does, amongst others, in helping to retrain and reskill people, so kind of post-academic, post-educational, other education schemes and supports. I think that's very important also, because for factory employed, and what will they do, right? I mean, I think they're very stretched going into night classes if they don't have any other form of support, right? If they work already in a heavy job. But again, I mean, there's something for the society to think about. But again, make no mistake, all our jobs and all our team's jobs will change dramatically.
I really agree to that point, Axel. And just to add a little bit of a philosophical perspective from my point of view, I think, when the computers came at banks, we all thought, there would be no people in the bank. There would be there'd all be computers and one guy in the bank. But nobody thought that there's going to be thousands of bank and thousands of other services that will be added. And like you said, we're going to have to evolve with this, not be afraid and insecure about it. And I think in that case, I think we will adapt. And I think we as a humankind, I think, can solve much bigger problems and do a lot more than before with AI, in our brain. But yeah, I think
to add on this one, because we do many digital informations within Bangkok and outside Bangkok, and also many factories, and then SME also have implemented some of the PCB factories would like to do QC, and then in the old days they need 5 to 10 people to have a QC systems. But if you use an AI together with image processing, they can reduce the manpower. Of course, that guys take shift to another that really need the manual work. And also the other thing is to have something that really miss out, reading out the receipt or something like that, using the manpower to put into the Excel file, RPA or something like that really create a lot of mistake. So that's why they are substitute the human to the AI or machine learning something. So up to now it's product improvement, and then consistently monitoring. I think the AI and then the machine is good for, but however creativity and then some other that machines still cannot work. So we still need manpower. Of course, as you say, it's some job is in old days, I think typewriter. I write something and ask a typewriter is missed out because computer is making for you. So not only the job is losing, but job creation also have create even new tools. That's why.
Exactly. And that's a great perspective. Right? As we go on, jobs are always going to change. You can't do the same thing for the rest of your life and expect that the world will change. With this, I think I'll just wrap up the panel discussion. I think you guys have been really amazing to hang out with and talk about all of these great topics. Really pleasure to have a chat with you, and thank you all for your valuable time. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tushin.
is now the last segment I promised for today. I'll just put up a surprise that we had in store for all of us. Thank you very much. So let me ask Ronak to actually jump on the stage and showcase the real world use case that is being implemented using AI. Ronak, over to you.
Thanks, Joshik. Right, it's been a great day. A lot of conversation and chatter around AI. A lot of talks around what kind of use cases are we able to solve. We spoke. I think we started our day speaking about POC, POV, and then going full-fledged. Today, what I want to do is present how can you radically start thinking differently about your retail business, right? We work with large set of global brands, talking specifically about apparel, fashion, lifestyle industry. The biggest problem that the companies face today is keeping pace with the customer expectations, right? So what are the customers expecting today? As you all know, we increasingly spend a lot of time online, right? So much so that if you see your own logs on your own phones, you will realize you spend about 6 to 8 hours a day on your mobile phone. What does this mean for retailers like us, right? This means increasingly a lot of shopping decisions are being influenced by what we see online, right? Customers today want what is in trend. Customers today want something that is personalized to them. And this is where companies like Shein, Zara, H&M are constantly innovating and bringing what customers need to them really fast. But most traditional retailers today are still stuck in a seasonal cycle. We start thinking about a design. It takes us 6 months to get it to the store, to get it online. How do we stay competitive, right? How do we identify trends? How do we do the most with the amount of resources that we have, right? How can we change all of this? How can we get something from design to shelf in 21 days, right? How do we start thinking about this? What if our garment design can be powered by AI, right? We've spoken about low-hanging fruits, chatbots, great real-world use cases, but fundamentally the retail business is about selling. Fundamentally, the retail business is about having the right product at the right time for the customer. Right? How do we go from design to shelf in 21 days? I want to show you a video of what we've done at a large scale in India. This is for one of the largest retailers in the country. And I think I'll let the video do the talking. I think the audio is disconnected.
But by the time the fashion industry catches up, customers have already moved on to the next big thing. The result? Unsold stock piling up, a clear loss and a logistics nightmare. In a world that changes fast, the fashion industry struggles to keep pace. Introducing Design to Shelf. Using the latest AI and technology, Design to Shelf rapidly transforms fashion ideas into ready-to-wear garments in just 21 days. Step by step, Design to Shelf propels fashion forward. We begin with meticulous planning, transition into creative designing, move to strategic buying, sourcing, execute precise making, moving, and conclude with dynamic selling. This process is crafted to keep pace with global fashion demands. First, we dive into the world of fashion trends forecasting. Here, innovative tools analyze current trends, consumer behavior, and future forecasts. This crucial step ensures that every design is on the pulse of the next big trend. Next, meet the Visu machine, a breakthrough in fabric digitization. This state-of-the-art technology scans fabrics, capturing every detail from texture to color gradation. Using Browseware's V-Stitcher, designers craft detailed 3D models of garments. This powerful tool allows for real-time visualization and modification, enabling designers to see their creations come to life without a single stitch sewn. V-Stitcher's precision in texture mapping, pattern fitting, and realistic draping simulates how fabrics will look and behave, offering a revolutionary approach to design that reduces waste and increases efficiency. Parallel to design, product lifecycle management software orchestrates the journey of these garments from concept to market. My supply chain ensures efficient operations, better margins, and more control over market trends. Advanced forecasting checks and balances inventory, ensuring we only produce what we sell, supporting sell before make. Control over sourcing and production opens up new avenues in the global market. Transform your garment creation journey from design to shelf, powered by Find.
Can we go to the next slide? Right, so interesting, right? I want to leave you all with a thought about how would you start thinking about your retail business differently if you had this technology. So you've now gotten the garment design, manufactured, sampled, everything is here, but like we were just speaking in the panel earlier, photo shoots take time, right? It is cost effective. It is not cost effective. It takes a lot of work to get it ready in time to be able to sell. What if you can now use the same design files to generate your catalog automatically? Right? The technology already exists. You can not only identify the catalog attributes, you can actually also write enriched product descriptions in multiple languages. Right? The technology today, Gemini, ChatGPT, all of these allows you to do this. But why wait for the photo shoot, right? Can we get this photo shoot done in 5 minutes? Maybe we can. Let's see how. Interesting, right? So, again, all of this is not just talk. Everything that you saw is actually live. To buy on Saks Fifth. Right? So the image that you see here, the product name, description, product image, model photo shoot, all of it is AI generated. All of the products manufactured, designed, available to sell in 21 days. With that, I will leave the floor open. I am excited to share. This is now also available in Thailand with our partners AquaOrange. So if you have any questions, happy to take now, or I'll be around so we can catch me anytime.
Thanks, Alan. I think that was futuristic, right? I think most of the retailers have the pain points that you somehow magically saying that could be solved in 21 days. And I think that changes the industry completely. So for anybody who wants more information on this, personal demo, POC, whatever you need, AquaOrange is a local Thai company. To Thailand, and then we can come in and present this to you and implement it for you. I think now is the last one, but I'll connect it with what I said in the beginning. All of this is great if your data is great. If your data is not great, you would not be able to get any of the benefits that we spoke about. That being the case, let me call our partner, someone from Syndigo, and final talk about how we get the master data management or data management in place. Someone.
Thank you guys. I'm the last thing between lunch and now, not the most comfortable position to be in. But I promise I will try to make this short and less painful, and then we can all go and have some amazing food. Okay. So I'm representing Syndigo, and my topic for today is to fuel retail intelligence, right? How data can power the next set of journeys or next set of experiences for customers. We spoke a lot about great experiences and data, but I just want to kind of talk through that. And just to make sure everybody's awake, okay, we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to start with a survey, okay? So time to exercise our hands a bit. So the first question is, how many of you have AI within your organization in a professional capacity right now? Really? Okay, so then, okay, so if yes, which is the people that I'm looking at that did raise their hand and are awake, I'm sure, has it added exponential value to customer experiences or growth or operational efficiencies? How many of you believe it has exponentially improved life in organization? Or you can put big numbers to it. You're a technology guy. That's good to know, sir. So that is so. And if not, right? I think we already spoke at the panel about some of the challenges, but I would love to hear from the audience here why you think is the biggest challenge from an AI point of view, like adopting AI. Any thoughts? There are no wrong answers here, okay? All right, so then we go to the next slide. I tried to answer that by myself, okay? But I think one of the things that Mohammed said, when we started in the morning was data was one of the big part of the problem, right? A lot of us, we are talking about next generation experiences, about, let's say for an example, creating agents that will do support, that will do sales for us, that will represent these agents, these AI agents are going to be a true representation of your company, right? And how are these agents going to behave? Just think about a new customer support executive that joins your company, and how much money do you invest in training that person, explaining to them what their product is, what your business is about, right? Because they represent your brand. And what we're seeing is that data is at the heart of these issues. There's going to be a lot of data quality is going to be a big part of your thing. You can generate a lot of great content, right? But if you don't have it structured in the right way and you don't feed it into your AI models, how is your search and discovery going to open, right? If somebody is coming into the search and discovery and trying a new AI experience, they will lose trust if they don't have, if they don't see the output in the right way, right? So this is, data quality, data accessibility. A lot of us already have huge catalogs of products, right? And if I asked you, who has the images? Who has the descriptions? Where is your descriptions for your marketplaces? You wouldn't have one place where the data is. The data is all over the organization, sometimes maybe even in somebody's computer, in their Excel, right? And you have no way to let the AI or get that data to AI. The other challenge is integration. Even though you can bring all of this together, but how do you send it to all of the people that need this data, right? It's not an easy problem to solve for enterprises. And of course, the governance and the fairness angle that we speak about, that how do you ensure that even if, let's say, you go become very brave and you tell your board that, okay, you're going to do a data cleanup exercise and you need maybe $1 million to do it, and then how do you ensure that the next year you're not going and asking for another $1 million to clean all the data that you just had last year? So how do you ensure that there's constant governance and constant maintenance of good quality data, right? So I'm going to make 2 bold statements, okay? And you can contradict me and disagree if you like. One is that AI is 80% data and 20% technology, okay? And no disrespect, but I think large language models have come a long way. World has changed, processing power has improved, but you know what? If your data is not there, you are not going to be at the forefront of your customer experiences. Okay? The second is that a lot of you from tech background would understand that there is this terminology called garbage in and garbage out. Meaning if you had bad data fed into the system, you would get bad outputs. But with AI, it is an actionable thing. It's going to be an agent for you. It is selling for you. It is going to cancel orders. It is going to place orders, right? And if it makes a mistake, it's going to be a disaster out the other door. I mean, imagine if you're in a self-driving car and it has bad data. And if you don't trust the data, what is going to happen? You're going to crash, right? So these are 2 really bold statements that I'm going to make. And I will totally accept it if you disagree with me and would love to have a chat about it. So where do I come in from? Okay, and this is where the value proposition that we're trying to bring in. You need to consolidate your data, you need to govern your data, and you need to be able to distribute and syndicate that data across the organization. If you don't have your data, if you don't know where your product data is, you don't know where your customer data is, and if you're not organizing all of that in a clean way and building your golden record, a lot of your AI experiences are going to change, and you will not be able to build those AI experiences easily. So going to the next step, and I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on these 3 steps, right? When we say consolidate, right? The first thing is you need to think about how you're going to structure your data, right? I know we said a lot about descriptions and romance copies and images, but think about a business, right? You start right from, if you're a retailer, from who is the supplier? What is the supplier ID? What is the GTIN or the SKU number that they're providing? Assigning a unique number, then defining what are some of the core fields to sell within your organization, defining a hierarchy where it goes into, defining the variations and grouping all of these products together to form a specific way in which it will show up on your website. Let's say, for example, you want to do only 4 color options on your e-commerce, but you want to offer only 2 of them in a marketplace. How do you control this kind of data changes? And multilingual, of course, you want to localize, and we talked about contextualizing, hyper-localizing your data, right? So defining a structured way, getting all your data together, and then going into a governance of that data, meaning, you need everybody in your organization that is touching and working with that data in a single place, right? You don't want that person to be, okay, I have the data in my Excel, and then I email that to the marketing team, and then they do their stuff, and they create images on some Google Drive, and then it goes to somebody else, and I create a catalog. You want one platform where each of these touch points will be integrated. All of them are working here to improve to touch the data and ensure that this is a controlled environment so that in the future you maintain the consistency and the quality of data that is needed. Next slide. Once that is done, I think integrating your data across the organization, from consolidating and distributing, should all happen through one source of truth, right? And this is where a PIM or an MDM will be the differentiator. If you're not, if you don't consolidate and build this data repository, I'm sorry, you're going to be sitting out on the AI journeys in the next 2 years. I mean, being a late adopter, I still believe that AI will create some of the most coolest salespeople, the coolest support people, but if they don't know who your customer is and what they're doing, then they're not going to be able to scale. Next slide. So I think what we really need to go from is that this is where maybe my generation 10 years ago was, where we were being sold attributes, the shirt, this many inches, this height, to actually selling value to customers, right? And to go there, I think you need data is at the heart of your journey. Next slide, please. And I'll take 2 moments to kind of talk about why Syndigo is the right PIM for you. So PIM, Syndigo is a SaaS-based platform. It's not limited to product information, but it's an overall product experience platform. We focus on PIM, MDM, managing supplier, product, customer, location, and bringing the experiences and digital shelf analytics all onto one big platform. And from here, this is the platter that is going to serve the data into your e-commerce, into your marketplaces, into your AI models. All of that will have the data in one place to work with. Next slide, please. It's a low-code, no-code SaaS platform, keeps auto-upgrading, keeps you on the latest AI. And while I've spoken a lot about how data impacts your AI journey, the one amazing thing about this platform is that it is committed to AI by themselves, right? A lot of the use cases about content enrichment, content generation that we spoke about are all covered within this platform as well. So just before I will end with a video, but just before I do that, I want to say that Syndigo is an American company. We're partnered with AquaOrange, and we've been working with them for almost a year now. We have a couple of journeys that we've started on in Thailand, and we intend to explore with some of the Southeast Asian market. You can see some of the biggest retailers, manufacturers are with us in the US, in Europe, right from your Carrefour to your, Sam's Club. Some of the world's biggest names are on this list of customers. So, and even though they have the platform, they have the data journey, they still are struggling to adopt AI experiences, right? So imagine that if you're not even there, what is the next big step for you? So with that, I think we'll go to the video next, and meanwhile, I can take some questions if anybody has. So that's about it. With Sendigo, you're gonna unlock your data, unlock the potential to go to the next level. And as a company that believes, I think now more than ever, the PIM and the MDM use cases make so much sense. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much, and I'm going to hand it over to Trusha. Thank you, guys.
Thank you everybody for your patience. May I request everybody from AquaOrange to be on the stage? Sean. As you can see, pretty diverse team, right? I think that unity in diversity is what we do. Extremely proud of our team here. I have Sean Farid, who's a founder and the CEO of the company. I'm the co-founder. And we all want to say thank you and gratitude for all of you to be here. This is a big event for us. Everybody here has worked tirelessly. So I just want to respectfully say thank you very much to all of you here. And thank you very much for all of you to participate. Thank you.
For everyone to join us. ผมอยากจะขอบคุณทีมของทางเราเองและทีมกับลูกค้าที่เข้ามา spend time กับเรา ถ้าเกิดว่าทางลูกค้ามีใครมีคำถามอะไรก็คือ please let me know, let us know, and thank you once again. And thank you very much AquaOrange team. ขอบคุณมากครับ Thank you all of us. Thank you. ขอบคุณมากครับ Thank you. As lunch is served, we would love to have you to have lunch. Thank you.